Flags, prisons, and upset. It's star-spangled awesome. It's here. It's loud. It's live. It's next.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
If they're not going to play us music, we sure will.
Yeah, definitely.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV's coverage of WWE's Battleground. I'm your host, Steve Kaufmann. You can find me on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann. That is Kaufmann. But I'm not alone. We are full strength, as we always hope to be here at the AFTERBUZZ TV panel. Starting in my immediate left, representing the AFTERBUZZ TV pay-per-view panel, Denise Salcedo.
I wasn't sure we were going to start all the way towards the left. All right, anyways.
All the way to my immediate left.
Yeah, right next to you. Anyways, you guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, @ Denise Salcedo, and I'm so happy to be hearing this song right now. I am wondering, why didn't they play this song when Great Khali came out?
That's what I was, like, they played Jinder's song again. It seemed interesting.
They wanted to pretend that it was a surprise.
I guess, but I don't know, in typical wrestling parlance, and we'll get to it, but like in typical wrestling parlance, you would think you play the song that everyone knows because it's your guy, but I don't know. Speaking of the voice that hasn't introduced themselves, representing the SmackDown panel.
Hey guys, I'm Gabrielle Loren. You may know me from the SmackDown panel. Thank you very much. And if you're not following me, you can follow me on Twitter at Gabrielle_Loren or on Instagram at Gabby.Loren.
All right, will do. What was that? How do you spell Gabby?
Gabby is J-B-B-Y. A lot of people butcher it.
Okay.
So.
And to her left, long-standing fixture here at the AFTERBUZZ TV WWE pay-per-view panel, he's the encyclopedia of sports entertainment, Mr. George Hermoza.
What up? Oh, I am George Hermoza.
Really
George Hermoza, GHERMOZA, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, PlayStation Network, Tango, yep.
Dead Journal, Live Journal.
Sure.
Oh, man.
Is Periscope still a thing?
It
Yes.
is.
What about
It's-
Tout?
Tout is not a thing.
Okay.
So, how are we feeling?
Pretty good. I'm doing good. How are you feeling?
Feeling great.
Okay.
How are we feeling about this pay-per-view?
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
50-50. 50-50.
Phone okay there, George?
Oh, yeah. I'm reading the chat roll because
All
I want
right.
to know how they're doing. What up, AJ0314? I don't think he likes me.
But how is overall on the show, how are we feeling with these 8 matches?
Honestly, I think this was a pretty solid pay-per-view. There was some moments that I clearly did not like, but overall it was okay, I think. What made it for me was the main event and the surprises that we got, the huge surprises that we got to see towards this main event of the show.
I get it, it's a joke, that's funny.
Yeah, thank you for getting my joke.
Love it.
The getter of the jokes, by the way, that is Mark Donica.
That's me, I'll pop in every once in a while, but probably not because I'm coughing my head off, excuse me.
I thought this was a pretty decent pay-per-view. I really enjoyed the main event, but I also really liked, I'm going to call it the first match for me. It was New Day and the Usos. I thought they were phenomenal tonight. And then also Rusev and Cena match. Really entertaining. So I would say those 3 topped it for me. So yeah, I mean, there's a few things I would have changed too, Denise, but overall, I would still say I was pretty happy at the end. So
As a standalone pay-per-view, I think it was okay. As a precursor to the biggest party of the summer, I think we see a lot of good things on the horizon toward SummerSlam from Brooklyn next month. So it was not in the middle, a little bit above the middle, a little above average, maybe like a 3.2. I guess you can say.
We're getting technical here.
If you're going to get GPA. GPA, not a 4.0, not a 3.0, maybe like a 3.25.
I also do want to point out, as people who like to complain about, like, oh, the booking is so obvious, like, there were a lot of upsets in this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Is one of those people you?
No.
Okay.
Maybe. Possibly. I think I enjoy that journey. I think I enjoy the journey of the what if.
I love Journey as well. They got
But
some good songs.
So good.
Yeah.
Let's
Look at that. Nothing from these 2 girls.
I smiled and
Let's
nodded.
begin our journey with Aiden English and Ty Dillinger on the pre-show match. They did 9 minutes 45 seconds. This is a good match. I think we all get worried when someone gets called up from NXT that they'll get lost in that shuffle and kind of wind up Apollo Crews. Not to hate on Apollo Crews the person, but like they struggle for some TV time. So to see Ty Dillinger on a match at all, we're like, good. They're using him. They're telling a story. And they had a great match. I hope we're moving forward is all.
What I liked about this match, first of all, I wasn't expecting Aiden English to win this match, and what I liked about this is that his character is so unique and it's so different, and they don't have anyone like this on the roster. So seeing him actually get a victory, I was like, yeah, like that's good to see, because I want to see, you know, new guys get built up towards something better. And also, I just realized, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but is Aiden English doing the Phantom of the Opera sort of gimmick here? Because I was like, oh my God, that's awesome.
I think it's a little bit of a combination of maybe different Broadway, you know, performances.
I think he's doing a theater geek. He's
I mean,
doing a theater geek
but
gimmick,
even going back to like WWE, I'm sorry, NXT, like they would have the roses. People would throw the roses in it, like kind of like a curtain call. And honestly, since he first sang on NXT, I've been a huge fan of this guy. Like I'm like, dude, this guy is like, I don't know, maybe it's his voice. I love the guy, I really do. I like Ty Dillinger as well. But I'm happy that it looks like they're going to do something with Aiden English. Obviously, we all thought that he was going to go nowhere after the Vaudevillains. I guess you can say broke up, more so, you know, the other guy got fired.
We can go with broke up.
Okay. But yeah, I'm happy that they're actually doing something with them.
Me too.
Same.
I'm happy he gets to sing in the match. Like these pre-show matches, like a lot of people like to sleep on them. They're actually a lot of fun. Actually, a lot of fun to watch.
Actually, do you know, maybe you know who his wife is?
Oh yes, Eddie Guerrero's daughter, right? Yeah.
The daughter of Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
So
that's. I think that's. Sorry, not to cut you off, but I think that's part of the reason why they're giving him a push, because you know he's a part of the Guerrero family, and you know Vince always said that he would, you know, take care of them.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the reason why, you know, we're seeing him not just get thrown, you know, just get lost in a shuffle.
Or that, I think that's a small part of the reason why he didn't get lost in the shuffle when the Vaudevillains stopped being a team. Because they could have been within their right to be like, well, you were one half of the Vaudevillains, there's no longer the Vaudevillains, you have to go back down to NXT and become someone else and come back up. But I think that's also a testament to the character he built. Where
even pre-WWE,
yeah,
NXT was building it up.
He built that character before the Vaudevillains, where it's like, no, he's always been that character, we can just move on. So this is going to be a precursor for the night for upsets. 87.2% thought it would be Ty Dillinger. Only 12.8 thought it would be Aiden English.
This makes me have more faith in Aiden English. Like now I'm rooting for him even harder, considering that the stacks were, you know, against him so much.
Yep.
That he's essentially the fan underdog.
Yeah.
A bit.
Interesting.
And in a city like Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I mean, Ty Dillinger's like over that, like they were all way behind Ty Dillinger, but I could see Aiden English up against a more cookie cutter face, and Philadelphia getting on board with them with Aiden English. This match, Battleground tonight started off with the New Day versus the Usos.
Yes.
Man.
This was a really good match. I thought it was better than their Money in the Bank match. Obviously, the finish was a lot better, but overall, there was some really good moments in this match. They had, I believe it was Jimmy that did the mid-air super kick.
You can tell them apart.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to remember the names. I was like, well, I know their names, obviously, but who it was that did the kick, I was like, okay, I remember it was Jimmy, I believe, yes. But anyways,
you really have to listen to commentary to hear who it is, because I can't tell them apart either.
It's so difficult, even though
crazy.
they
Honestly, I can
wear
tell them
different.
apart.
You can't.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, I don't know who Jay is. I don't know who Jimmy is. I know which one Naomi's husband is.
Everyone keeps saying that. It's so funny.
I don't know. I feel like whoever non-Naomi's husband has a little bit less hair from the goatee. I don't know. It feels.
Well, there's one that's also a little larger too.
Yeah, one of them looks a little bit, you know, like he always like a little, maybe like 6 pounds more.
We still don't know though. That's
Alright.
Yeah.
Well, I remember for a long time they used to wear wristbands or like sleeves on either side. So you could
one of
literally
them
tell
had
apart.
one of them had
Or,
half
yeah.
the one, and then the other one had the half.
But then I think they literally went out of their way to make that not happen anymore. It got really difficult. Man, the Xavier Woods taking that super kick.
That was nice.
Like
that was nice.
Xavier Woods like took a lot this match actually.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed the Big E sitting out. It was Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, Big E on the sidelines, and just the way where it's like they're going for a lighter, more agile team.
Yes.
Where it's like the idea that like you can think like, oh, as a team, you're right. They get to choose which combination they can use best for that day.
And not only was Xavier taking it, he was also giving it the very end of the match, he also did an elbow hit all the way from one side of the ring to the other, which was phenomenal. I loved it. So I just think these two guys together, like you said, being paired up and having Big E on the sidelines really worked for them.
Yeah, during that moment, I'm glad you brought that up because I was like, wait, I'm like, he is way too far down in the ring. Like, is this really going to happen? And then when it did, I was like, whoa, that's awesome.
Yeah, this match was completely, like, beyond my expectations, and I already had high ones, especially some of the build-up, which was, to my opinion, like some of the best build-up for a tag team match. I mean, obviously the rap battles, you know, goes without saying, but like, man, the Usos just kill it. Like every time they're on the mic, it's like I put everything down because like every word that they say has meaning behind it, and I love that about the Nusos, I guess you can say, that kind of came out like 6 months ago, 9 months ago. But I don't know. I hope that it keeps going. I hope that, you know, we see the rematch at maybe SummerSlam or maybe something at stake. Who knows? You know, it doesn't. It can just be for the tag match, the belts, but. If it means, you know, more mic time for each team, more so for the Usos, I want to see all in on these two teams.
I need this to be 15 minutes at SummerSlam.
Really?
Just a straight up rematch.
Yeah.
That like the Usos would have a contractual rematch. That's when they use it, and then they just talk smack. Yeah, I did that. They just talk smack the whole way to SummerSlam.
They could do like a second rap battle. I think that would be really fun. I would not be opposed to that.
I don't think some of the powers that be will give them the trust anymore to have a rap battle. Anymore after a few of those lines.
They can do a bunch of. They can do a diss battle. They can do a debate. They can do a bunch of stuff that's pretty much the same thing, but.
Or one of the things that everyone was talking about during this match was actually the trust fall by Kofi Kingston that led to the double power bomb. That was insane. What did you guys think about that?
Oh, that was amazing. That Kofi hasn't been doing the trust fall for a while. Like he just started that fairly recently. I'm looking at George. Sure. I'm looking at George to be sure. Like I feel like that's within the last 12 to 15 months thing. And it's just it's a thing of beauty.
Well, he's always been very creative with his offense, even dating back to when he first started on the ECW New Talent Initiative, where I was like, man, he's doing a lot of things that I've never seen before.
Jamaican Nick Crazy Kofi.
Yeah. I'm sorry?
Speaking of that, no, I was going to say, also, Jimmy Uso pulled out a move tonight in one of the submissions that was used a very long time ago, right?
Wait, which one?
By Conan.
Oh, the Tequila Sunrise.
Yeah,
oh, hell yeah, dude.
Sunrise.
Well, yeah, they use that every now and then. I know they use it a lot when they were facing American Alpha. But yeah, I've always loved that move. I think that's great that they kind of added more to their arsenal as opposed to just the splashes. But yes, that super kick was crazy. And I love the fact that they kind of sold it like he didn't just, I guess, like, let's say Jimmy and Jay. Jimmy didn't move out of the way just to add insult to injury. It's like, hey, I'm moving out of the way, and you're going to get kicked in the head for it too.
I was trying to make a transition about kicked in the head, and I have nothing. This match was a coin flip, which is a testament to the good build. That's true. 42.2% say the New Day, 9.2% thought it would be some type of schmaz, 48.6% thought it would be the Usos, so only 42.2% of you were correct on the New Day, the new tag champs, the first ever former Raw and SmackDown tag champs. They'll eventually be former. You know what I mean. But I was about to get boggled down in the semantics of well, actually the belts on Raw and SmackDown, where it's like, well, no, the blue belts and the red belts, they're the first team to hold them both.
Nice.
Well, technically.
Well, actually. Next up, we have Shinsuke Nakamura and Baron Corbin. This was a great story. And it dates back to Money in the Bank, where Nakamura got attacked by Baron Corbin and could ultimately lay claim to the fact that he could have been Money in the Bank. I mean, he could have been Mr. Money in the Bank had it not been for Baron Corbin. So it's very basic stakes. Baron Corbin's the bad guy. He's Mr. Money in the Bank. Nakamura's Nakamura. They love him in Philadelphia. They did a great they did a great match here. A 12-minute, 25-second match. Some people did not like this finish.
You could also tell that the fans were not in Corbin's corner.
Yeah.
Especially when he had his briefcase held up at the end and nobody was saying anything.
No.
There was like one guy caught on camera that was cheering, and that was about it. But it was very evident.
Like right before the bell, you heard one guy going, "Let's go, Corbin!"
Yeah.
And like you could tell from his tone where he's like, he's being sarcastic.
Yeah.
At least he's got one person, right? Honestly, for me, this was my least favorite match of the entire card, only because I know that, you know, Baron Corbin has been improving so much, and they were saying how he's been having incredible matches with Shinsuke and with AJ Styles during the house shows. So I was expecting a little bit more. I mean, it's Shinsuke, so I know that he can work with pretty much everybody, but this match was just not my favorite personally. I was expecting more.
Okay.
I'm gonna second that, actually. I thought there definitely could have been more action. I was finding myself like not as in it as I was with some of the other matches. There wasn't anything that was really drawing my attention. It seemed kind of flat, for lack of better words. I don't know, what do you guys think?
I agree.
I mean, I think we saw a little bit more physicality, more of that strong style that Nakamura brings to it. But I think it's a lot of it was more so maybe the finish. Like, obviously, we don't go into a match saying, God, I hope this match ends in DQ, you know? It's, you know, I think sometimes when that finish does happen, I think no matter how open-minded you might be like, I was kind of hoping for a non-DQ, but, I mean...
I was hoping for something definitive.
Yeah, obviously, we're going to see a continuation, so obviously it's the best finish for this program to continue. But, yeah, I mean, I was a little underwhelmed as far as just overall.
Yeah.
I guess that would be a good... I think for a 12-minute match, like, I thought they told a very good story, and then I think Baron Corbin now gets the extra heat of he robbed us of what could have been another 5 minutes. Like, he robbed us of what would have made the match from feeling a little flat, as we're saying, to like, no, this match was amazing. It was a Kinshasa and a kick out and a this and a that and where like none of that happened. It was like, no, he intentionally low blowed him, and the referee called the bell.
I did like that he came back too, because like we said, like they've been booking him pretty well as a heel.
Yeah.
So him coming back and kind of being like, screw you guys, I don't care that I kind of ended this match and came back and kicked his ass some more. That's definitely okay.
I'm a big fan of a straight up heel like that. And by that I mean, and I'm a broken record about it, but by that I mean someone who doesn't care if you buy their T-shirt. Baron Corbin does not care if you buy his T-shirt. Which is funny.
The rebel of the rebels.
Because I think people buy his T-shirt, but I'm like...
Because he's the lone wolf.
He sells it even more because he half the time doesn't even wear his own T-shirt.
Like, he wears whatever T-shirt he feels like wearing. 79.9% were correct, thinking it was Shinsuke Nakamura. 7.3% thought it would be some type of no contest. 12.8% thought it would be Baron Corbin. Shinsuke Nakamura wins.
Wow.
After this, we got us a fatal 5-way elimination match. The winner faces Naomi at SummerSlam for the WWE Women's Champion, the SmackDown Women's Championship. Naomi out first because she doesn't have a match. Because there are 6 women. There's 6 women and 5 of them are in the match. We're going to get to the match, but I have to ask, how do we feel? Do we think Naomi comes off as the crown jewel of the best of the division, but they constantly don't have anything to do with her?
I think she's super athletic, and, you know, she has it to be. I just think she's still, you know, we saw it with her match with Lana where, you know, she still wasn't able to carry Lana because she still doesn't have that experience yet. But, I mean, you can't take away her athletic ability. And, you know, she has something. It's there. And I think as we continue seeing her as champion, I think she's developing more and more. But is she the crown jewel? No.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
Everyone has their strong points as a wrestler, and I think hers is her agility, is her dance background, all of the athletic moves she's able to work with, and the original moves she can pull out. But then when you have like someone as good as Charlotte, you can't really say crown jewel because there's so many great wrestlers in the women's division right now. This is the epitome of, you know, great women's wrestling at this point in time. But I do think she is really phenomenal. She is learning and growing, I think, you know, each day. But there are areas that obviously are going to fall short when you're stronger in other parts of your wrestling career, I guess.
I'm glad that you asked that question because if anything, I think it does add a little bit of glow to her mystique as champion. Because here's somebody who's not wrestling on the pay-per-view. I don't think she wrestled. She kind of wrestled at the Money in the Bank one, but it was kind of like her and Lana and her kind of on commentating. But nobody really complains when it's Brock Lesnar. You know, Brock Lesnar is somebody who's obviously not there all the time, not defending his belt at every pay-per-view. So why is it an issue when Naomi doesn't defend her belt on this pay-per-view? If anything, it's very much so like that Extreme Rules match where you had 5 of the 5 women, maybe not the best women because obviously Carmella's not in there, but 5 women that are in the match and will do anything just to get that title shot at Naomi at SummerSlam. So I like the fact that they kind of showcase Naomi as, hey, here's your champion, here's everybody fighting to face her.
I buy that. I don't know. I think for excitement, and they already had 8 matches, but for excitement, I wouldn't have been opposed to a 1-night only contract to another woman either from NXT or from Raw. I'll just like come in and face Naomi.
That would be interesting.
Or even Naomi doesn't fight, but it's like come in and face Carmella.
Although I thought of a storyline when this has happening. I want to see a match with Naomi and Carmella or whatever, and it's going to be the title versus or whatever a match to, and if Carmella loses, she loses the Money in the Bank contract. But before the match actually starts, she gets attacked and then Carmella cashes in. It's like it was all a ploy to get her out there and whatever. But anyways, I thought I kind of agree. I thought Naomi should have been, but I was like, and then again, Brock Lesnar doesn't always wrestle at every pay-per-view, but at least Naomi's there, you know?
I appreciate that she came out, she was front and center, she was on commentary, she shook Natalia's hand.
And where else would she be but ringside to see who the #1 contender is going to be?
By the way, this match was great.
Really?
Really?
I don't know. I didn't like that all the pinfalls were like so back to back from each other. I want to see elimination, couple more minutes, elimination, couple more minutes. It was like elimination, elimination, elimination. I'm like, oh, can I breathe?
I didn't think we saw a lot of the women's strong points in this match. I think it was like a basic match. I mean, Charlotte's phenomenal. Why didn't I see her do more?
Well,
That's how I feel.
I think that's partly the sentiment of the SmackDown Women's division.
But even it goes back.
Added Charlotte,
it even goes back to Money in the Bank, and I think you said it as well the Money in the Bank after show, where like this match was okay, but then we saw their match on SmackDown, and that match was just flat out awesome. So we know they can go. So I don't know what they're not letting them do on the pay-per-view that we know that they're able to do.
Something's holding them back. I mean, I don't know what it is, but I mean, it's good when there was points in the match where it was good when they had when they had Natalya in it, when they had Becky Lynch, and when they had Charlotte, everything was coming together. But then when you add people that aren't experienced like Tamina or Lana, it kind of messes that like dynamic in the match. So that's what maybe is that's the issue that I saw here today. Whether it's all the time, no, that's probably a different story.
I would also say they only got 11 minutes here, where I'm sure on the house show loop they're used to 25 or 30 minutes, and like even on a TV taping they're gonna have a bit more time because they're commercial breaks. You just cut the commercial and come back. Like if you give them 2 segments, that's more than 11 minutes. Then I think that might be the bigger factor. I also really interested about what they're doing with Lana.
I think they're playing into a storyline. I really thought the Tamina Lana thing was going to go somewhere.
I honestly thought Tamina was going to eliminate 3 people tonight. And then, I thought she was going to eliminate 3 people. I thought she was going to eliminate 3 people to then, or team with Lana to eliminate the other 3, just to then beat down on Lana.
Right, me too. I thought that was her plan.
I thought that was a straight up, and correct me if I'm wrong, we didn't even get a hint of that.
No, it was so interesting because you had that tension between them. First they were working together, and then Tamina saved Lana a few times, but then Lana didn't come for Tamina in the end. So I thought there was going to be a story playing off that because that last submission she didn't come to help.
I don't
Do you remember that part?
No, I did. That whole part's very interesting.
But they were really playing off of their story together. So I was confused why it just ended. And they both got kicked out.
It might have just been a sake for the time, because I do get what you mean. They had those moments during this match today, and I like that because obviously we already know that Lana is not as skilled in the ring yet, but so she needs someone to kind of I guess you can say be her booster or something like that. Does that make any sense at all?
Booster?
Yeah, but even I know what you're saying, because you need someone to kind of help you look good, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
But the commentary was all about, wow, I guess Lana's all in it for herself. So I'm just trying to understand what's going on between the ladies. Obviously WWE is all about the wrestling and the stories in between, so it's just confusing. At this point, I don't know if they're inexperienced in acting or wrestling.
Eh.
It's pretty much the same thing in WWE.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know. I hope they move forward with a story where
Yes.
Tamina is literally going to drag Lana to the I would love a story where Tamina's for whatever reason women's championship's not going to happen for me, but it can happen for you, Lana. And like I like the idea. I like the idea of dragging Lana kicking and screaming to the women's championship. We're like, no, you're doing this. I'm here. We're gonna do this. I thought that's where we were going with Tamina. We weren't. Speaking of Charlotte Flair being the centerpiece of the women's division, 43% thought it would be her, 14.7 thought it'd be Becky Lynch, only 12.8 thought it would be Natalya, 16.3, and then I think that's 10.2% for Lana.
10.1.
So close. 10.1. My eyes are fine, I swear. But 12.8 for Natalya. That's another upset for the night. For those who are counting, that's 2 so far.
And watching the pre-show panel, I know they had some of the like Carmella on the pre-show, and they were giving their picks for who would win the women's match, and she was saying Natty, and I was like, oh. Then I thought about it. I'm like, wait, what if it is Natty? Like, I don't think we've really ever seen like a Naomi Natty program. Where and I hope that,
I would like that.
And I hope that this match doesn't get that Ambrose Ziggler treatment from last year's SummerSlam, where kind of like everybody kind of forgot about it after like a day, you know. So I'm hoping that they give these women the proper time to really tell the story in the ring, because I think that this can be their, and we all know they can both go, especially Natty, but I really think this can be like their, hopefully their like shining moment. In such a huge stage.
And I feel like Natty really hasn't gotten that right opportunity just yet, especially at such a big show like SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So to tell you the truth, I was really shocked that she won. I was expecting Charlotte or Becky to take this, to tell you the truth.
And especially like even in the past SummerSlams, we always see like a multi-team, multi-women match with like 4-on-4 or 5-on-5 and whatever, you know. So we're finally going to be able to see Naomi versus Natty in a straight-up one-on-one match in such a huge stage.
Yep.
I really want to see that.
Even in Mania,
And
like you don't really see many one-on-one matches at Mania.
And I think we should do that. I think hopefully it looks like we're working towards an Alexa Bliss singles match at SummerSlam as well. Maybe we could do a tag team match, a women branded tag team match. No.
And I think
How-
we agree. We want to see the one-on-one, and we want to have a nice solid time
I'm
slot.
saying
You're saying interpromotional.
I'm saying we have 2 tag team. We have 2 women's matches from each brand, and then you have an interpromotional tag team match.
But
for
we
the women.
have a pay-per-view for that. It's called Survivor Series, and it's just a few months away.
But I want it now, though, Mark.
You need to be patient.
Patience, my friend.
Not my strong suit, sir. Next up, we had what was poised to be the match of the night. Kevin Owens and AJ Styles for the United States Championship. Kevin Owens, when they booked this match, was United States Champion. AJ Styles beat him at Madison Square Garden. Before that, they talked a lot about this on Talking Smack, how this was a big deal, like how that was a big deal for Kevin Owens. His family was in the audience. And then to watch his family was in the audience, and ultimately watched AJ Styles beat him and become United States Champion. These two can go.
This was a decent match. It started picking up. It started a little bit slow, but it picked up. It was a nice match. The finish was just so confusing. I don't know if I'm the only person who felt that way, but I was kind of like, what? That's it? I wasn't expecting that.
I think what made it confusing, this finish, was that they didn't replay it.
I was like, there's no replay?
And I think part of it is, like, we would like to see it as many times as we can, and part of it also is that's the language of WWE television, is they're going to show it to you 5 times from all the cameras they had on it, and for whatever reason, they just didn't show this to us again. To the best of my knowledge, he had a submission hold in while Kevin Owens was locked into a submission hold by AJ Styles. He pinned his shoulders to the mat and got a 1-2-3, presumably while still in pain from a submission hold. And
it was so interesting. It was very back and forth. You know, I think it was like a switch of 4 times back and forth. So crazy.
I think it was a 4-time back and forth, then a ref bump. Then a ref bump, then the submission finish. It was beautiful. They were in only 17 minutes 50 seconds. I'm going to go out and say match of the night.
Really?
I'm going for it.
I was okay about this match. Like, it reminded me of, was it 2 years ago, Cesaro versus Kevin Owens, where I'm like, oh my God, this match is going to be so awesome from SummerSlam. And it was just okay. And this is going to be sound really, really weird. I feel like if this match was for the WWE Championship, I feel like this match would have delivered a lot more than it did today. I don't know. There's something about that I feel like if they were in the main event slot, I don't know. I just feel like these guys are main event players. So yes, they're not gonna diminish themselves because of the thing. But I feel like they'd be able to. The management will be able to tell them to just, you know what, you're at the end of the show, just go, just do whatever you want, you know, as opposed to like, hey, you're middle of the show, you know, you don't wanna steal the show because, you know, we had New Day and Usos, we still got the Punjabi Prison match, like, so kind of like. If your guys are at a 10, maybe go at like a 7.5. I don't know. I feel like if this was for the main belt, I feel like it'd be more of a show stealer. I thought it was good. I just don't think it was like groundbreaking good like I thought it was gonna be.
Also, you circled a point that these are both main event players, but there seems to be a main event player season, and they're pre-Royal Rumble main event players. There are pre-WrestleMania there's a WrestleMania season and an off WrestleMania season.
Well, that's in Steve World.
No, I know, like,
yeah.
That I'm saying that like they were at one time they were both world champions.
But you would think that like especially because I remember you said that like WrestleMania has its own storyline. You would think that this would be the time that this is their time to main event because it's not near WrestleMania, you know?
Yeah, well, I think they have Lesnar now. Well, they're doing an interesting thing with Jinder up top that I don't like. That I applaud them trying new things.
Like I guarantee you, and I'm obviously the only like 20,000 people can say this. I guarantee you that their MSG match is better than tonight.
I could buy that.
I would agree. I didn't think this was the best match of the night either.
Is that match on YouTube?
Probably clips.
Well,
but
actually, yeah, a lot of they said in the show that people had filmed it on social media, and that's why it blew up to be such a big thing. And they think, oh, maybe they did this on purpose, where they didn't make it a main show on TV because they wanted it to go digital.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna watch that.
But my match of the night would be the opening match. That match was just insane.
That match was
the tag team match.
Speaking of insane, only 10.2% of people thought it would be Kevin Owens.
That is insane.
3.1, some type of schmaz. The rest, 86.6% AJ Styles.
I guess it's because of all the hype. You know, the second you found out on Twitter or wherever you found out that AJ had won the title at MSG, people were like, "Oh my God!" So nobody expected it to be off of him. You know, a few weeks later.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, why? Well, because the question becomes, why would you do that? Why would you swap like that? And the story just becomes that Kevin Owens above all. Like, Kevin Owens will just, he wants it, he'll get it. And then AJ Styles is the good old boy that's trying to do his best. It's a real simple story. Enjoyed the shit. Like, I just enjoyed this match.
So simple.
Like, real simple. Now, John Cena Rusev was the next match, but we had a segment.
Yes.
We had the Fashion X-Files.
Oh.
Or, well, we're going to talk about the Fashion X-Files now. I might not have the order right. This was so much fun. Like, I love everything about these segments. The Ascension coming in, the Eddie Money references, and then the ending that somebody's, like, actually beat them down. So who do we think beat them down?
Who?
I was thinking either it could be, what about Insanity? You think this would be like a good way to bring him up to the main roster?
I think Steve just kind of,
I
don't know. I
You're like,
feel
I
like I
want
saw
that now.
your vinegar stroke or something.
Just so that the audience knows, we had the slate up while Steve made his slate or his face. Do you want to make it again?
Why did you look at me with eye contact on that one?
Yeah, a lot creepier. Good job, Steve.
I like that. That would be a good way to call up Sanity. That spoilers though, because that would mean Brooklyn doesn't go well for them.
Why? What happens in Brooklyn? I don't read spoilers.
Why would you do that, Steve?
Yeah.
What? Well, Brooklyn's not happening. Never mind.
I don't even know what you're
Brooklyn
referencing.
hasn't happened yet. Never mind.
You're an awful person.
I'm so confused now.
But my favorite part about this segment was like when you thought he was in Ascension, and we're like, wait, really? It was you? Like that's such that's not even like interesting. Like, and they start referencing like those disappointing season finales, and finally when we realized it wasn't them, I'm like, oh my God. Honestly, I have no idea whatsoever who these guys can be.
I have an idea. On SmackDown, we've been predicting maybe Rowan and Harper, possibly. So I'm gonna go with that.
And also the key for that one is the flashlight, because they use the flashlight as a prop, and at the end that's kind of like the focal point that we're seeing is like this really odd camera shot, but they're both on the ground. There's a flashlight, and then Fandango gets taken out, dragged out.
It felt very Wyatt-esque to me.
Especially with the drag, actually, now that you mentioned that.
It felt really Wyatt-esque to me. That was my first thought. I would like that.
Like, a part of me wants it, but I think Luke Harper kind of falls in that Cesaro category where, like, you want to see them excel as a single star, but if they put him in a tag team, at least they're doing something with him. But it's like, it's like, oh, I kind of want to see you and especially after that pre-WrestleMania storyline with, he had great matches with AJ and Orton and whatnot, and it's like, oh my God, this guy is really, really good. A lot better than we all thought he'd be. But yeah, I'm all for that if that happens. We've seen them mesh together, well together with as a team. Obviously, classic match with the Usos, so I wouldn't mind that.
Did anyone think that this kind of reminded you of Clue back in the day when the lights go out and then someone gets murdered and the lights go on?
But in what
Just
room?
like that. Yeah, exactly. That's what it felt like.
I'm just thinking of the Clue movie well, because apparently the initial plan wasn't to air all 7 endings. They wanted to air one ending in each theater. That's just silly. It's a silly Steve thing. It's a silly Steve fact. We're gonna get into John Cena, Rusev. It's a flag match, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh God!
Yay! I actually like this a lot.
I just feel like there's gonna be a lot of backlash about the flag dropping on the floor.
Yeah,
Lance Storm was tweeting about that.
I feel like the people in the back were like, wait, so this was a bad idea on 3? Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
It's a freaking show, though. I mean, come on, let's give it a break.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're inviting the back. Like, I give WWE enough credit that they wouldn't do this with that, and then we'll feel blindsided tomorrow with the backlash. They're like, no, we were prepared.
Yeah.
We were prepared for people saying, oh my God, they're letting the flag drop on the floor. Where it's like, well, of course they're fighting to bring the flag. They're fighting to bring the flag to where it prominently belongs.
Yeah, I think
in a place of honor. Like, storyline wise, this makes sense.
Like, I think the main thing that they're going to defend themselves is, well, we're entertainment. We're no different than Sopranos and Game of Thrones. What's so different about them,
I don't know. That would be really.
That's always their defense, though.
Yeah, I don't even think they need to say that. I think just
they're
as
not.
much. Yeah, like they will say nothing.
Yeah.
They'll say we had characters on a television show performing scripted storylines, and like it'll just be like boilerplate press release.
Who were 19.3 that thought Rusev was gonna win? Okay, go on.
I wanted Rusev to win, but
Would you
I
have
knew
picked
that
Rusev
John,
though?
Well, I did in the little questionnaire thing that we did. I picked Rusev because, I'm a fan of Rusev. But, I mean, clearly I knew that John Cena was most likely going to take this because, come on, let's face it, he looks like G.I. Joe. And, he's not Mr. America, but you get me.
Well, Cena always wins. Well, actually, Hulk Hogan was Mr. America.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I miss the Rusev that we saw when he was last on Raw. Like, we know was coming out here calling himself Handsome Rusev. Like, I want to see that guy. I don't want to see this badass Russian that, we saw 2 years ago already.
I guess I haven't been on a panel to say this. Nothing disappointed me more than 4th of July when Rusev came out to face off against John Cena. Because I was like, oh, man. Because I just saw the next, 3 months of what they're doing to Rusev. Because it's what they've been doing with Rusev this whole time. This cyclical, big show, Great Khali, kind of Braun Strowman, this cyclical how they handle monsters.
He's proved himself that he can do a lot more than the typical Russia character.
Of course, but I'm just saying, booking wise, that it's the cyclical that he'll lose to John Cena, then he'll start at the bottom, and then he'll run through a certain level of the roster to build up a lot of credibility, so he can lose to John Cena again.
I don't find that to be the case. I think that what's going to happen is Rusev will eventually come out on top. But if you're going to do a flag match, I don't think they were going to, trash America. My whole vote was with John Cena just because he represents America. So at times like these, we need to come together, and I felt like he had to be the hero. But with that being said, Rusev's obviously going to be pissed off by the lose. So I think he'll eventually obviously do a rematch, maybe have, some more battles out in the ring. I think he's going to win. I think he's going to take it over.
So
I think he's gonna make a comeback with John Cena,
So do we think it's gonna be?
just not with the flag.
I don't. I don't think we're gonna see him. I don't think we're gonna see a Rusev John Cena match again. Like I think SummerSlam is gonna be like Cena Nakamura or Cena
No.
Styles.
Cinder
Or
Jinder.
No,
It's gonna be
I was
Cinder
gonna
Mahal.
say that.
Oh,
Yeah,
God,
it
that's.
has to be because he's
You want to talk about
like.
the cyclical? You want to talk about?
But
this.
Mahal's gonna win.
Well,
See, because look, they have to have John Cena against Jinder Mahal. That would be a great thing because like they said, John Cena has the America thing, and then Jinder has the India thing. And look, if Jinder loses to John Cena, it's not going to be like, John Cena's already has a respected career. It's not going to be like a guy that is just trying to get his push and he's barely getting started. So if John Cena were to lose to Jinder, people would be like, okay, well clearly they're trying to get Jinder, hyped and stuff.
But then they could bring Rusev in and have Rusev challenge Jinder, and then it's a whole, Bulgaria versus India thing. I don't know, but could happen.
That would speak volumes for John Cena if you could lose to John Cena at Battleground and then face the champion at SummerSlam. It'd be no. But I'm number one contender. No, but you had a match. This guy had a match with John Cena. I see them keeping John Cena away from all the titles myself. I think they're going for dream matches with him.
I mean, I think they're gonna. I don't think he's gonna win. I don't think he's gonna beat Jinder Mahal. I think SummerSlam's like the event. Like
Do we really
if they're
think
gonna,
that's what we're doing with John Cena?
why wouldn't they?
Like because he came out and said like he wants matchup. Like
He wants what everybody in kayfabe land. Don't you want to be the WWE champion? Don't you want to get number 17? Why do you want to wait till WrestleMania when you can do it now?
Because he can fight Shinsuke Nakamura.
Why would you fight Shinsuke Nakamura? What's the purpose of fighting Shinsuke Nakamura when you can face the WWE champion?
Your logic is sound. I just don't.
And we all know
like
it's going to be AJ and Shinsuke, hopefully.
I hope so.
But I mean, like I said, plus I think Jinder needs it. I think we've seen him. It's kind of like JBL when he was champion. He had the legacy because he beat more than just Eddie Guerrero. He beat Booker T and Undertaker and Big Show, whatnot. It's like you can't build this guy and just only have him beat Randy Orton. You have to have him face against someone else big. Who's next for Jinder Mahal? The only logical person that makes sense is John Cena. It's not gonna be AJ. He just lost.
Okay.
Well, then again, you can always win like a fatal 4-way match.
Armchair Booker.
No, and the cool thing is that in India they're getting like a whole different side of this where for them Jinder is he's the face, he's the good guy. So for them it's like they're seeing something totally different than what we're seeing, which I think is pretty cool because I don't recall any time this has happened in the WWE where we're seeing different heels and faces.
Technically the Great Khali was this way. They just didn't talk about it. Not only was the Great Khali this way when he was
a baby face though. Like
not always.
When he got really big.
Yeah, but like his first 2 world title runs, he was a heel. He was just a face in India. Not only that, I think he was like the TV they presented in India. He was champion way longer than he was actually champion.
He's a cop in India.
He's Great Khali. I was really happy to see him. We're not there yet. By the way, 80.7%. Thought it'd be John Cena. 19.3. Rusev. This match went 21 minutes 10 seconds. This next match has the unfortunate side effect of being the come down match. It is Sami Zayn versus Mike Kanellis with Maria Kanellis. Yes, I put Maria Kanellis in front of Mike Kanellis.
I love their theme song.
And I love their gear so much.
Everything.
Oh my goodness.
Everything about these two. Like they don't need to. Like they didn't need to win this match to tell the story that they're telling of just that they're in love and they're not great people.
Well, I think Mike should have probably won this match just because, we don't want to see him come into the WWE. And, I mean, yeah, he has this whole hot thing happening with Maria. Their gimmick is great where they're in love, and it's so ridiculously cheesy and annoying, but we love it. But I would have liked to see him win so that the WWE Universe can take him more seriously, I mean, I don't know if you guys felt this way, but I kind of felt like he needed a win, especially because he's new. I thought he needed that win.
Yeah, you got the win last week.
But not on a pay-per-view though. It's like extra, like bonus points, But hey.
Well, I think the overall story is the power of love. Like, is the power of the love between Mike and Maria to begin with.
God, if they ever play Celine Dion to that, man,
Oh
we'll
my
totally
goodness.
mark out.
My heart will go on.
They're not paying for that.
My heart will go on.
Even after this match.
But the real question is, where do we see Sami Zayn going? Or is this his role that he's on television, He's on television, and he's like a utility player, like a Dolph Ziggler. Is that where we see?
Where
Sami?
is Dolph Ziggler, by the way?
That is a good question.
Ziggler,
He's gonna
Harper,
work
Rowan,
with-
so many like
He's gonna
guys
work with
that can
Sami Zayn
go.
next week.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing him and Kevin Owens at SummerSlam for the U.S. belt. I know we've seen that
Ooh.
feud kind of, culminate last year and a half ago at Battleground, which was probably a lot of people think that was one of the match of the years. But I want to see them now for a belt.
Especially because they know each other so well.
Yeah.
You already
That
know
would
they can have
actually-
good matches.
Like we never really seen them on a one-on-one match for the belt.
And that would make sense as to why Sami Zayn won tonight as well. Because it's clear, because Mike is new, it's clear you're trying to build up Mike Kanellis. Unrelated, because we mentioned there's seven women on the SmackDown Women's division, and I mentioned this when Maria came out the last SmackDown pay-per-view. I want to see Maria.
She's not gonna wrestle.
I want to see Maria.
I know
wrestle.
you want to, but she's not going
want
to.
it.
I think her skill is being the mouthpiece, honestly, because she's just so good at it.
I know she's former knockout champion, but did you see how she won the actual belt?
Yes, I'm giving her the benefit. I've seen her I've seen her do better work than what you're mentioning, but like.
But she's so good at that, like you said, like
Yeah.
that kind of side piece level where like even like going back to New Japan, where it kind of like I think what they call the Kingdom, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, is that his name?
We'll go with
Whatever,
that.
yeah, and they were facing like the Bullet Club, like Anderson and Gallows, where you have Gallows like, Carl Anderson kind of infatuated, dancing with Maria, and like I want to see that, like just kind of like not her in a match, but just very much so impacting the match.
Yeah, we're seeing that so far in the two matches that Mike Kanellis has had. We're seeing that, so I'm excited to move forward both these people, and now I'm really excited to see Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. So thanks for getting my hopes up.
I mean, I don't know. It does kind of make sense. Like, I don't want to see AJ Owens at SummerSlam. I don't want to see, Sami Zayn and Bennett again. So I don't know. I feel like it's Sami Zayn. He's not going to be in the main event. So try to build that story of if he can become a champion, because he hasn't held any championships on the main roster.
I can guarantee you this: you will not see Sami Zayn versus Mike Kanellis on SummerSlam. That's just a guarantee. That's just me letting you know right now. Either neither of them will be on the card, or they'll be facing other people. 21.1% thought it would be Sami Zayn. 5.5% thought it would be a no contest. 73.4% thought it was Mike Kanellis. It was not Mike Kanellis. This was the third, and if you count the New Day, which was more of a coin flip, the fourth upset of the night by our numbers. A lot of upsets tonight. Now we're moving on to the Punjabi Prison match. Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal.
Yes.
There's a cage made of bamboo around the ring that has 4 doors. Outside that cage, there's an additional cage that had no doors. You had to climb. In previous incarnations of this match, there would be a table on that inside part. This time the table was on the outside part. I actually really enjoyed the Punjabi Prison match.
I loved it.
I've always liked this match as a concept. It's new, it's interesting, it's fun.
And we don't see it that often, so it's not like burned out yet.
Yeah, it's the third one ever.
But next year, 2018, they're gonna have a Punjabi Prison pay-per-view.
Of course.
Of course they are.
Of course. I think it was it The Onion of this world, in Kayfabe News, wrote an article like 5 years ago where it's like, we're keeping Jinder Mahal so we can do the Punjabi Prison match, just as a jokey headline, and now it's literally happened.
I really like this match, especially because when we were predicting who we thought, on SmackDown was going to win for this, I said this will make a great match if they are going tooth and nail at it on the last wall, which is exactly what they did. I loved how they had the 2 guys involved on Jinder's end. And then obviously the Kali entrance, to top it off at the end. But I did go with my own prediction that Randy Orton was going to actually win this. I thought maybe playing devil's advocate, something would happen. But Jinder definitely deserved it. I don't think this match he deserved it, but he deserves it in general for being like a really awesome player. In the other matches we've seen him in. But there was a lot of cheating going on tonight.
Well, and I do like...
It's not cheating if it's not breaking the rules.
Well,
there are no rules
didn't
in
somebody
Punjabi
climb
Prison.
through the hole in the wall?
Hey, there's nothing against rules that says you can't.
Aren't you supposed to climb over, not through?
Well, he wasn't in the match though.
Yeah, but that's exactly why it's cheating.
It's not...
What,
If it were cheating, It's only cheating if you get caught. If you can't get caught, then it's not cheating.
I guess so.
It's a conundrum.
Which, by the way, going back a few matches, why was there a ref in the flag match? How hard? Like,
That's a good point.
Do you have to be in the ring to realize you grab a flag and you put it on the little thing?
I mean, was the flag match no DQ? I don't think they ever said.
But what's the point of it? Like,
feel like
because
I
we
feel
saw
like you-
Rusev tap out, but obviously there's no tap outs in the flag match.
But like, maybe there were DQs in the flag match. They just don't want you to think too hard about it.
Maybe.
Because like maybe if you rewatch the match, there was a 5 count in a corner.
Maybe because it would just be visually weird not to see a ref, since we're so used to
I think
seeing a
there's
ref.
that too.
So that's probably like the main
Well, and the
thing.
ref just needs to just kind of, well, also, who's logistically not kayfabe at all, who's going to tell them to what to do and how many minutes they have.
You don't tell John Cena anything. He does what he wants.
You tell John Cena what they're telling you, and then he does what he wants, which is more than likely what they're telling you to do. Like, he seems like somebody who wants the show to run on time. More than anything, back to the Punjabi Prison match.
Honestly,
The kendo stick stuff was a lot
that
of
was
fun.
really awesome. You know, so it's the bamboo, but it's steel and force. I was actually thinking, like, would it still be as effective if it was just the bamboo alone? Because I thought that would be like a really cool way to do it instead of having it be steel and force. But that's a whole other topic for, I guess,
Well.
another time. But honestly, I thought that this match, in the beginning, it was like, okay, it was decent, you know, whatever. But then towards the end, like once the Singh brothers came out from under the ring and everybody's like, oh my God, what are they doing here, blah, blah, blah. I thought after, like, from that moment on, it started picking up, like, so much more. And then, you know, we actually got to see some blood. And I like that. Yes.
You
And,
savages.
I know, right?
well, come
Really,
on, it's a Punjabi prison match.
Are the 2 girls on the panel more excited about the blood than the 2 guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have we come full circle? in
That's
the
what
wrestling
makes
world?
the match interesting.
And you know what's funny? I wanted to
know?
see like a love story in the match.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you like the Mike Kanellis match,
Yeah.
and we like the blood in.
I'm all about the
Jinder
total.
Mahal.
I'm all about the total divas.
So bad. Anyways, but yeah, I got excited with the blood, to tell you the truth.
This was,
Me too. We saw blood twice tonight, by the way.
yeah.
Jesus
Owens
Christ.
too.
It's like they're counting.
Yep.
You would have loved Great Balls of Fire then, because that had a lot of blood.
Oh,
So
yeah,
much
yeah,
blood.
yeah. That was
So
awesome.
much blood and not bad blood. That's what we'll call Great Balls of Fire. Oh man, but this was a lot of fun. Now we can just talk a little armchair booking. There were people who thought Randy Orton would win now because you would think the point is for Randy Orton to now move on to SummerSlam, to an opponent at SummerSlam as champion, and that similar to this off-season, on-season stuff, like, well, let's try it's not Big Four season, let's try Jinder Mahal, and it's going to be Big Four season, let's get Randy Orton in there again.
I never would have thought that, honestly. I think from like day one, you just know they were going all in with Jinder.
Yeah.
Well,
Especially since he hasn't really done a bad job as champion.
Well, and also they have the India tour coming up, right? So they probably want to keep him
Yeah.
as champion or in the spotlight for that.
Yeah, I think they already put all this effort into Jinder, so why not keep it going? Keep it going until, I don't know, God knows when, but
God,
keep it going.
Can it not be John Cena, though? Can, like...
I think
He's
it
not
would-
going to win the belt, though.
It would be good for Jinder.
But you don't think, let's say, you put your Booker hat on, you don't think it's going to make Jinder Mahal even a bigger superstar by beating John Cena in a high-profile match? That's not your next logical decision as
if
a
he
Booker?
actually beats John
Yes, that's what I'm
Cena,
saying.
yeah. Oh, then yes.
Yeah.
But I don't... That doesn't seem like how they do things. Like, if anything, it would be...
Yeah, it is. John Cena never wins at SummerSlam.
That is true. But I think I think what would happen, like, the Jinder Mahal tonight that took a giant and 2 other guys, plus a prison, plus a literal prison around the ring, that's what it took for him to beat Randy Orton. For him to come from that to 4 weeks later beating John Cena clean, I don't see it.
Who said it's going to be clean?
It's got to be clean.
Why does it
don't
have
think
to
it
be
will be
clean?
clean.
Because he's got to shake hands with John Cena has to shake hands and, like, give him a blessing, if you will.
What? Wait a second.
No, because, like, that's...
That was hysterical, first of all. I don't see that happening at all.
Pope John Cena.
You know what? I give you your blessing. I give you my wristband.
I think
I'm
that's the
just
charm.
picturing him like, I now pronounce you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a way to do that religiously.
Either way, we wouldn't be able to see it.
You're like, no one makes it into WWE unless they get that blessing from John Cena.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that would be the logical end to put him over as a competitor is to have him beat John Cena and then John Cena go, you beat me.
Even
But
if
he's
he
not gonna
beats
do
him with the help
Yeah.
of everybody else, it goes with him because you know, he's not supposed to be the nice guy gender. You're supposed to be
He's
like,
a-
oh,
he's
like
a
this
heel.
guy, you know? Exactly. So if he wins with the help of Great Khali and Singh brothers, it's definitely okay. He doesn't have to pin, John Cena cleanly in
I
order
would-
to get over in a way.
I also love that too. If you're talking about SummerSlam, you put John Cena on the marquee, and then you have, because let's assume it's for casual SummerSlam's for more casual fans, the guy they haven't heard of, who's somehow is world champion, and then it takes the Great Khali and the Singh brothers to beat down on John Cena and like literally throw stuff in the ring heel heat. I'd like that too.
Yeah.
I don't see them doing either of the things.
Well, what about that awesome spot by one of the Singh brothers? I don't know which one it was. I think it was the same one that Randy Orton threw through the commentary table.
Yeah.
But come on, we got to give a major applause
Oh
for
no,
that.
that
was
spot,
awesome.
that spot was amazing.
Yeah.
Because it was, correct me if I'm wrong, like if the Punjabi Prison is as tall as the Hell in a Cell, then the spot he took is the equivalent to the Mick Foley spot.
No,
Just probably
I don't
with
think
better.
maybe like a little bit lower. Maybe like
I would
a little
assume
bit
it's a
lower,
little
yeah.
bit lower, but even then, that's still
And you think because he's tinier?
no, but that's still like 15, 20 feet in the air. Like that's still like a ridiculous bump.
Yeah. And then they still had, when he landed on the commentary, I think they still had like the videos and like everything.
Underneath,
just landed,
yeah.
Yeah.
He just landed sick on that. It was really awesome, I think. And then, how do we feel about the Great Khali coming out? Because I was so happy. I'm just gonna say that right
You were
now.
really
I
happy
was
to-
really happy because I've always really enjoyed the Great Khali.
I'm a fan of continuity, so I love the idea that it's the Great Khali who was a prison guard at a Punjabi prison, and the originator of this match, in spite of the fact that he didn't wrestle in the first one. But for him to come out in the third one, I actually enjoy that
He had
continuity.
to make up for the one that he missed.
Exactly.
And especially because I think the whole continuity thing is, and I could correct me if I'm wrong. I think Jinder Mahal's supposed to be married to Khali's sister.
What?
You don't remember that?
No.
Yeah, isn't he? He's a cousin or a brother-in-law or something.
Yeah, I think it's like there's a marriage. Like I think Jinder's married to Khali's sister in storyline, obviously.
Okay.
But like, yeah, you don't remember that? Like when they first brought in Jinder Mahal,
I don't remember any
pre
of this.
3MB, pre 3MB.
That
Oh, that sounds weird. Pre 3MB.
that sounds like
Just try
something-
saying it.
That sounds like something they're gonna reference a lot this week.
Maybe I don't know. Again, that's what I immediately thought. I'm like, wait, why is Khali coming out here? Oh, right. I think they're supposed to be related in storyline through like marriage.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that at all.
And I don't know if we're gonna see this kind of Indian stable, kind of. I don't know. Are we gonna see?
Yeah, it was for when Jinder first debuted. They brought him in as a relative.
Yeah.
Oh,
He was like married to Khali's sister. But are we gonna see? What's that guy's name? Ranjan Singh.
Ranjan Singh?
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, I
Who's
love
still a
Ranjan
writer.
Singh.
He's like one of the head writers for WWE.
that would be cool.
That'd be awesome. He can have this whole posse behind him
Yeah.
and therefore give more to the Maharaja gimmick, you know?
There was a woman in the Mae Young Classic that was also a protege of. Was
Oh,
also
yeah.
trained by Great Khali.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people similarly in the performance center that would.
I
actually
think
be
honestly,
fun.
now that you mention it, I think what that stable needs is a woman. Why not?
Done.
Do it.
Book it.
Maybe depending on how let's see how experienced she is. Maybe she can be an immediate impact in the women's division of SmackDown.
Book it, George.
All right, hold on. Let me. Yeah.
Call Vince. Make it happen.
So we all loved the fact that Khali came out, but I know you guys were talking earlier that you didn't appreciate how the music was in Khali's, and we didn't touch on that, so I just wanted to see what you guys thought.
That's interesting. You have to think. Since the Great Khali has been there, maybe the literal stage has changed, so they didn't have all the Titantron the assets there. But even then you just play.
They're WWE. They could have done it.
You still have the music.
Yeah.
No, I think because that specific theme is very much so a babyface oriented kind of theme. You know, we kind of picture Khali coming out dancing with Natalia and whatnot. I think they didn't want the first thing you think of is babyface. They want to see like, oh, he's coming out to Jinder's music. He's on Jinder's side.
Makes sense.
Like, there's no
Actually,
reason for people to speculate. Is he on Randy's side? Is he coming against Jinder? I think they just straight to the point and say, hey, he's with Jinder.
And I think I said this earlier, but for me, I almost thought it to be like more of a surprise from WWE. Like, we don't want you to know what's going to happen, even though obviously it was on a lot of people's minds. Is Kali going to come in and interfere?
And it would take him it takes him a really long time to get to the ring.
Right. I mean, yeah.
So how big a surprise is it if it took you 30 seconds?
But
to
for
get to the ring?
TV, you know, they don't have to focus the cameras on it. So, I mean, yeah, it's only a few seconds, but something.
Speaking of which, Randy Orton 12.8%, Jinder Mahal 87.2%. By the way, these numbers, I'm not just making them up. People aren't just predicting to predict; they're predicting to become the AfterBuzz TV predictions champion. And I know who it is this year. This week.
Yeah.
It came down to the tiebreaker.
Uh-oh.
But your winner and the new AfterBuzz TV predictions champion is Mexican Stallion.
Oh, he's gonna be the champ for the year now. What is that, like at 7?
3.
Okay.
So far he has won 3, so he has 3 points. Keep in mind, WrestleMania is worth 4 points, so it's still anybody's ball game.
Last year's WrestleMania was worth 4 points.
We'll talk, Mark.
Yeah, we will.
But yeah, any final thoughts about Battleground, or where we're moving forward with who, or anything we kind of missed before we get on out of here? I Sami Zayn'd a lot there. I'm like, well, but maybe you could think about, I don't know.
I'm kind of curious if the aside from that big spot, if the crowd, because I feel like if you were a fan at that place, it'd be hard to see the ring. Because essentially it's two cages that kind of like
I saw a lot of
crisscross with each other.
I saw a lot of tweets that were saying that.
Oh, really?
Also, it is worth mentioning there were also pictures of people who left that match
to get Rumble tickets.
To get Royal Rumble tickets.
Maybe because you couldn't see that well.
Interesting.
Which, that just sounds like the most WWE fan thing I've ever heard of. Man, I hate this. I'm gonna go buy some more stuff.
I think like for TV wise, I mean obviously in person there's only so much you can do, but TV wise I would have liked it if they had like holes for the camera, you know, like on each end, because you know it took them a while to find that like perfect spot where we can see inside the ring, but when the wrestlers were moving around, you know, we had a little bit of trouble, and I think had they done that for us, for the TV people, it would have probably been a little bit better, I think.
Yeah.
This is all shocking to me because if I was there, I would have loved to see the Punjabi Prison live. But the fact that it's like obstructing people's vision from enjoying the show, like that just stinks. So hopefully they work on it and make it better. But I would love to see something more dynamic like that at something that's out here.
I mean, I think it was an overall good pay-per-view, but I think Monday Night Raw is kind of taking the lead as far as better pay-per-views for the month. I really like Great Balls of Fire a lot better than Battleground. I think a lot of finish was more decisive and whatnot. You know, there was no like, oh well, AJ Owens kind of came out of nowhere. Like, yeah, you know, they kind of spread it out, spread out a little bit more on Great Balls of Fire. But I mean, it was okay. I mean, again, a little bit above average, but
I also want to say, pre-WrestleMania, but like post-brand split, like once this brand split started, had you told me that by this time we'd be agreeing that like, no, the Raw pay-per-views are actually kind of better, I would tell you crazy.
And it has nothing to do with the talent either. I still think that maybe SmackDown has, you know, the better talent because you got AJ Owens, you know, Cena and all the above. I just think the presentation is a lot better on Raw. It's a lot smoother. I don't know. Maybe they switch writers or something. Who knows? But
I think that's a part of it, and I think they also probably had a chip on their shoulder from being bested, because they were bested early on. Because SmackDown had like the chip on their shoulder to have a better show. But let us know in the comments because the SmackDown versus Raw of it all is really fun.
Yeah.
Also, just in all over the place prediction, I think the Survivor Series match should be one brand versus the other. The winning brand gets Money in the Bank. Just to make it mean something.
Cool.
That's just a cool idea I've had. I want to put it in the universe.
I thought they would have done it at SummerSlam, have AJ versus Joe. But at SummerSlam, we're going to see, I think, Orton, Kali, Cena, Jinder, and Fatal 4-Way, Brock, Roman, Strowman, and Joe.
George, the people want to talk to you about that. Where can they find you?
You can call me on 310-724-5632.
Is that seriously your number?
What do you think?
Probably.
Whose number is that?
I don't know.
You memorized it pretty well.
When you call that number, you let me know. But you can follow me on social media on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook. Is that still a thing? MySpace?
Facebook is still
Well,
up.
maybe not MySpace, but
Maybe if you play your cards right, top 8. G Hermoza, Ghermoza.
Tom already took spot 1. Anyways, I'm Gabby Loren, so you can find me on Instagram at Gabby.Loren or Twitter at Gabrielle_Loren. And on season 5 of Women of Wrestling, I will be your backstage reporter coming out in the fall.
Cool.
That's super awesome. All right, guys, so you can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at _Denise Salcedo. And you guys can also catch the X-Pac podcast, X-Pac 12360, on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. on AfterBuzz.
And you guys can find me on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann. That's Kaufmann. I'm doing Suits here this week. I'm also doing Rick and Morty here this time next week. And I'm also doing The Sober Year. It's thesoberyear.com. I'm spending a full 52 weeks not drinking. I had some open bars at Comic-Con I couldn't enjoy. I'll be talking about them there. So for George Hermoza, Gabby Loren, Denise Salcedo, I'm Steve Kaufmann. Thank you and good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.